Happy National Meatloaf Appreciation Day. The food, the singer, who could say for sure. Welcome to week 7 of the Sandlot Fantasy, or the Sandlot Cast. Sandlot Fantasy Football Season, Sandlot Cast, whatever we are. I'm a little out of sorts here, boys. With me, as always, I've got Nick. What's going on, Nick?
I would do anything for Meatloaf.
There you go. Hillers, how's it going?
Anyone that doesn't watch the video, watch it for just 1 second so you can see Nick's face when Merrill says it's Meatloaf Appreciation Day. It was a treat.
And not with us as always, we've got a guest host. We have Tyler /Esther joining the podcast, fresh off his honeymoon in Europe. What's up, man?
I don't know what to do with my hands. No, it's awesome. It's awesome to be here. Thanks, guys.
So yeah, do you guys eat meatloaf? Like,
Yes.
No,
It's a loaf of meat. It's fantastic.
I just eat the meat.
McLean makes an amazing meatloaf, and it's a recipe from this place up in New York. And the last time we were up there, she took me to that place, and it was absolutely amazing.
you said a loaf of meat, like that sounds like a good thing. I gotta
Yeah,
say,
it is.
it sounds kind
A
of
cold meatloaf sandwich the next day. Oh man,
yeah,
so good.
I think
So good.
I think I've had McLean's meatloaf a few times. It wasn't always perfect, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Any meatloaf stories there? Esther, did you have any over in Scotland when you're over there? Isn't that?
I had haggis for the first time. I noticed flying over, seeing all the little white dots up there. Like they have a shit ton of sheep in that country, and factually more sheep than people, and they do a lot with those.
Haggis.
Yeah.
When you look at the ingredients of haggis, it is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting.
And I'm usually not a guy who will eat weird things like that, but actually it was really good. It's way better.
It's like entrails and like
Yeah.
stomach, and it's
Mhm.
disgusting.
And barley.
With some barley mixed in, sure.
All the good stuff, you know.
Do you have any blood pudding?
No, I drew the line at the blood pudding. That's not.
But fun fact, the haggis was served by Meatloaf.
Oh, it was from the grave.
There you go.
From the grave, by the ghost of Meatloaf.
R.I.P.
Like a
The
bat
ghost
out
of
of hell.
Meatloaf. He probably is haunting Scotland. If the ghost of Meatloaf is haunting any nation, that's probably it.
So here we are, divisional doubleheader week coming up. It's a big one. We're kind of at the halfway point with 17 games in our regular season. There's not really a halfway point, but this is kind of it. We'll try to do our real deal in Ocean Field next week, but this week we figured we'd check in, go over a few things that we had on our mind, and hopefully be in and out in a tight hour and 30 again.
Yeah.
So what do you guys?
Everybody
want to talk
asks what Sandlot. Nobody asks how Sandlot. You know?
about? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do people ask what Sandlot?
I mean, I assume.
All right. So what are we talking about?
This is a riveting conversation, guys.
How about all right? So how about
Wait,
let's
why don't you
go
guys start
over,
us off?
That's how we
let's
are.
see. Let's just do a check-in with what everybody's
1,000
where
yard
everybody's
stare.
at. Esther, let's start with you here. What impressions of the season so far? How do you think things are going? Anything weird? Just at a high level, anything stick out about this season maybe that makes it unique to you?
I mean, I have facts to back up some of this stuff, but I mean, just out of my gut feeling, just running back apocalypse. Like the tight end situation's not as bad as it was last year, but I feel like the running back situation, like your RB1 could have been like an RB3 5 years ago. In our league, I think the teams there's a lot of parity this year. There's a really good team that's like extremely scary running the league right now, and there's also a really bad team running the league that I haven't gotten to face yet. But beyond that, it's like everyone's like could beat anyone at it.
Enjoy your Watson week.
Week 10, baby.
It's a big week for everyone. Yeah.
got it circled on the calendar.
I would be lying if I didn't say that I've been looking at my record and saying, okay, I'm 6-2 now. Okay, so I'm pretty much 7-2 because I get to play Watson later. So, I only need 3 more wins.
I have a short collection of notes, like what I could go over in this and stuff like that, like riff about, and I feel bad because like half of it is like just like rips on.
Have you listened to our podcast at all this season? All we do is rip on Watson. We really need to talk about some of the
It's
team.
remarkable, though. I mean, we've been doing this 20 years, and to have a team this bad is something. I mean,
it's bad. It's 30.
Well,
He's averaging 30 points less than the next closest team.
I'll love to Watson, but that team is a dumpster fire. You're starting 2 Denver receivers.
Well, let's go ahead and
Oh,
actually
no.
let's go ahead and actually pivot this a little bit, but going off the same thing. We're excited about playing Watson, but is there anybody else in the league that you're generally excited to play? Like, do you have any kind of rivalries in the league that you are looking at and saying like, man, I really like playing. I like playing this person because I have a rivalry, or I don't like playing with this person because it's a rivalry. Like,
Yeah, I was going to say, those are 2 very different questions, right? Because who do I want to face? Basically only Watson, because my team is garbage.
Now I want to
Right.
face Dez.
But who do I feel rivalry with? So many people.
I know that's kind of my thought too. Is like I want to beat everyone. Like I don't really care who it is any given week. Like I need to
Then
beat
that's
them.
not a rivalry.
I know.
Yeah,
And then
Just good sportsmanship.
I
just
look
good
forward to playing Dez because he's never beat me. So that's I enjoy that win every year. It's been 3
Cyber.
wins some years, which is great.
I like that you have kept track of that. You like know that.
Well, I knew
So
it's in there.
I knew it like a year or 2 ago, and he hasn't beaten me since. So,
Stuck around, right? Yeah.
I also like playing Dez. Dez, you're garbage.
Yeah, there you go.
There, rivalry established.
But as far as rivalries go, I think, and we talked about this, I don't know, one night on the Discord when we were just chatting. I think something that would bring rivalries back, and this is something I'm going to propose, and I think I already proposed, but is the fact that our divisions change every year. I think means the rivalries kind of also change every year, or don't ever actually happen. Like Hillers, you remember when we first started this league? You and I every year. We were just going head to head 3 times a year, and
Yeah.
I would say that was when you and I had a rivalry.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't much one because you kicked my
I
butt.
want that correction real quick, Meryl. I do believe you have lost to him once.
When?
But
Oh, I got DQ'd once because I. That's right. He had to. Yeah, he had to call me on a DQ.
I got your back, Des.
He's a narc. Yeah.
but
What did you get DQ'd for? It
Starting an illegal lineup, probably.
Illegal
because
lineup.
I didn't have a player in one of my roster spots. It's the
let's
stupidest rule ever.
not
That-
unearth this again.
that-
That's not the point of the question.
Because
explains the
I
rule
started
change.
I started less players than him and still beat him, and so I got DQ'd for it.
Well, we're not talking about Merrill's cheating ways. We're talking about rivalries and if they're good and if we should bring them back. I do agree that playing the same players year in and year out will give you this sort of deep-seated resentments. But we changed it for a reason too. It's like because for a while it started getting set in where you'd have like one team that was perennially good and other teams that weren't, and it was giving them a systemic advantage, and it just wasn't feeling like everything was it didn't have the parity that we seem to have accomplished since then, right? And we had a lot of dynasties, and people would run through and get multiple titles, and people were saying, well,
As opposed to
could
now.
we switch these up?
People, well, we don't have Grimes winning 3 out of 4, or Roscoe winning 3 out of 4. Yeah. We have more dynasties now.
I'm just saying why we changed it. I'm not opining as to whether it worked or not, but at the time people felt like, hey, I'm not getting to play, basically these weak teams that I wish I want to squish because they're in a different division.
So some fun facts going over that. Because I had some time on my hand and we brought this up earlier. I did this analysis a week ago, last week, so I didn't take into account this previous week's results.
Nick's research corner.
Next week's research corner. Yeah, that would actually be a good bit too.
It is a bit. You just
So I went through and figured out
Gotta get a theme
each of
song.
the owners. So basically, I have our records based on per owner. So it's not against like Estrick's team. It's against who was it? It's against
JD's team.
Choop's.
or
It's against JD. It's against Choop. It's against Choop. So there's Choop's record, and then there's Estrick's record. There's Anthony's record, then there's Dez's record. There's Evan's record, then there's Patty's record, then there's Slad's record. So broken
Fun
down.
fact, Estrick, you inherited everyone that hates JD when you
I want
became into the league.
JD. I want the JD era like erased from the annals of history. I want to be like the Jerry Jones of the not going to happen Chiefs. You know what I mean? I have plenty of time to run it in the ground myself.
So I think the longest running rival, the people who played each other the most are Hillers and Daria. Their record against each other
Oh
is
boy,
8-8.
is it?
It is 8-8.
Also known as the Jeff Fisher.
I'll take it.
Grimes versus Andy. Grimes has won 13 times. Andy has won 3.
That explains why Andy hates Grimes. Like he always kind of grumbles. He always kind of grumbles when Grimes' team's brought up. It's like, oh, Grimes, you know. It's
So what's funny is it also shows. I know that we've been doing.
balance.
I know that we've been doing the Rumble for the last couple of years, so that maybe breaks it up a little bit. But this shows like a lot of like how static the leagues work, because it's like Watson's record against TDJ. Like TDJ is 10 and 2. 10 and 2 against Watson.
Yeah, but I mean, going back, you said Hillers and Daria have the most games against each other. But would you consider that a rivalry at all, Hillers?
No, I think we both are mutually supportive of each other. We both complain at each other. It's not. It's. I think you and I have closer to a rivalry relationship, and that it's like, man, I hope I beat Merrill this week. He'll be so smug if he beats me. I can't stand it. You know, I was like, that's the kind of thing that I feel like characterizes a rivalry.
I think
You are 6 and 7 against Merrill. Hillers.
Oh, see, that pains me deeply.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple things that go into that. One, it's because of how we started in the league and playing in the same division for the first 5 or 6 seasons, right?
Right.
But I also think the podcast, we sit here and we argue with each other on the podcast in public about things. We have different ways we look at fantasy football, for sure. We approach it a lot differently.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of it. But I don't know that I consider you a rival anymore. I don't consider anyone really a rival right now. And like, I don't know. I think
is that because you think you're far above us now with your record?
No, it's just because there's nobody that I think about, you know, when I'm drafting players. Like for instance, if you have someone in your division, like Hillers, when you had Aaron Rodgers, it was like, oh well, I'm going to try to get Jordy Nelson, right, to kind of counteract my division rival. That way, I can counteract his point. Now, does it happen all the time? No, but like these are things. You approach trades differently, right? Like you don't want to trade with someone who maybe is in your division, or is going to be in your division. You don't want them to get a keeper for years to come, because like I don't care if I trade Watson a keeper for years to come now, because I don't know what division he's going to be in next year. But if he's in my division, I don't want to give him, you know, some cheap great running back for the next few years. I don't know. I think so. I guess my proposal would be we keep divisions for 3 seasons. Would be my proposal, and then we switch it up again.
I feel like I've heard you mention how much you enjoy beating Daria's team several times, and I've definitely caught like wind of stories of the past of like the Damian Tomlinson like hitting a receiving touchdown.
No one was beating Daria when in the Tomlinson era.
You got that backwards, my man. Daria was pummeling us into dust back then.
These records are only based on since we've been on the site. I didn't go back further.
Can I get Merrill and Daria's record, Nick?
Yeah, Mara, it is. I just saw this. Merrill is 9.
It's pretty good over Daria right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
9 and 2.
She's been pretty hard luck for a few years now. Even when the teams are seem like they should be good and the points for say they should be good, man.
But she does have a championship though on the site, which is the other thing.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh,
the rivalry is Merrill versus anyone with the title.
Maybe not. Since joining this site, my fortunes have kind of turned a little bit, honestly. So it was not as good before this for sure. Well, I'm glad we don't have those stats.
Pre LT.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, 3 years for divisions, and then I know we lose the Rumble, which sorry Andy, but
I do love the Rumble.
I'm out.
And for that reason, yeah. Well,
I don't know. Just something to think about. Just trying to plant the seed.
How about you, Esther? Do you think have you named a rival? Do you want to call anyone out on this podcast and tell them publicly that whether they knew it or not, you're their rival now?
last year I would have said Pritchard, but that was probably just my own thing because we were both chasing the same wild card
Chiefs.
spot and division spot, so it was like a weird. I was actively wanting him to lose, but he doesn't.
Right.
We don't really talk at all, and I don't shoot him messages or shoot the shit. So
Yeah.
I wasn't all the way, but that was like my I hope you lose kind of thing. Maybe I got something blossoming with both the podcast hosts below me, just in the sense of I handed them both L's last year in the playoffs, and Merrill's team looks like a wagon right now, and I don't know. I'm hoping that my cosmic luck is gonna be able to take it out. But then I know
I'm the champion of Week 7, baby. Let's go.
And then I know Nick is harboring some ill feelings from last year. I mean, he renamed his team this year.
I mean,
after
The saltiness is lingering. That's true.
I will say that
Rivalry.
I do like that you're in my division this year. Like, I do like that I kind of built that out, and I was like, I'm glad that this year, like right following this, that this is it. But like, I don't need to fight you. Like, I don't need to build a rivalry with like you're my rival whether I play you once or 3 times. Like, it's not about staying in the same division with you. It's about just I want to beat Estrick all the time. I don't care if I play him 3 times. I don't care if I play him once. Like, it's not about that, and it's also about the build up to it. Like, there needs to be more smack talking. We need to like make a bigger deal about it than I think that we do. Than it is just like you can say that, oh, we'll just like trades this and draft that. Like, no one's gonna follow that. Like, on the draft floor, you're not going to actively say like, ooh, well, am I going to bid $80 on Bijan because so and so is going to get him if I don't?
Yeah.
Like, no, you're going to spend $80 because you're going to spend $80. Like, you're going to spend it at the draft. Like, it's going to be right there with the thoughts of the bye week. Like, you're playing to build the best team you can. You're building the best team you can.
Well, let's be honest. We're all getting a little bit older. In the early days of the seasons, or of the league, we there was just loads of shit talking going on every day. Every day.
Or email threads.
People were, the email threads were hundreds deep. We were writing weekly articles that were just long screed shit talking all the other owners. I mean, that kind of thing just isn't around anymore, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just maybe a consequence of like everyone just doesn't have the time for that much vitriol all day. It's so
And I'll actually up you on Hillers and say that I think that if there was more content created, that more rivalries would be created from that, and then we could have that. Because it's like right now, we're just Hillers, you're absolutely right. We're not as young as we used to be, and we don't have as much free time as we used to be able to just sit at our computers and spout things off. Like before, it would be like, I disagree vehemently with what you just said. I can't wait to beat you now, just to shut you up. Like, and now we just don't have that. So
I'll start cranking out some BuzzFeed articles, top 10 reasons LARF sucks or something, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, I know there's some, there's some
Number 7 will shock you.
or vitriol or whatever out there for us on what we say on the podcast a lot of times, right? So people really like when they beat us after we, crap talk their team on here or whatever. I mean, like, so that kind of goes to what you're saying.
I know for a fact that Dez, like, is chomping at the bit to like knock Hillers off any way he can because of how much love Hiller spreads to Dez's team every week.
As soon as he becomes a good owner, then I'm sure he'll have more success in that.
I think a lot of the trash talking also comes down to like, I want to trash talk as much as I can, but look, it's been 20 years and I'm still titleless for one. So like, how many people can just say, yeah, that's cool, scoreboard, bro? Like, it's like boom, like what am I gonna say? It's like at some point, it's like, put up a chat. But the other thing is like, you don't want to mess with fantasy karma, right? It's like,
that's right.
I found the more like I trash talk or whatever, it's like, it just comes back to you tenfold for whatever, right? You
the
just look
minute
like
when I win, the following season, shit talking's
all bets are off.
All bets are off.
yeah. If that little silver lining for you guys, if I do win, is heel Merrill is coming out. He's coming out hard.
Oh gosh, known as Smug Merrill for the first 4 weeks of many a season before, then usually by now replaced by Depression Merrill.
Right now, Merrill's like
never be replaced by Depression Merrill again.
Right now,
what a
Merrill's
dystopia.
like right now, Merrill's the Triple H that's fighting The Rock just because he's fighting The Rock heel. He's not like corporate CEO Triple H heel yet. Like Merrill's default heel because he's fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're right, Nick. Once we just need the one, and then it's like, all right,
the wheels will come off.
I'm on the trophy now. So, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it will come. A lot of rivalry comes. You think of the best rivalries? They come from usually teams that are in the same division or conference together, right? That compete against each other a lot. That just leads to more stories, more history between the teams, really, and history is kind of what leads to rivalries.
I mean, if you look, I am cherry picking this here right now, right? But like, it was never Tom Brady versus anyone in the AFC East. It was always Brady versus Manning, and he only played him once a year.
Well, that's because the AFC East stunk.
Well, I'm just saying it had nothing to do about the division.
The crappiest division for 20 seasons.
I mean,
and also that was a totally manufactured storyline.
I'm just saying. I mean, we can manufacture stories like that too. But I'm just saying is that it's
course,
not about how much.
And we
you don't
do.
need.
Well, that's
it
why I
doesn't need to
said
be-
that's why I said conference too. By the way, but yeah, that there are always outliers, right? But I mean, you look at it's like what Steelers, Ravens, or like any of these like big rivalries that are out there. I mean, it's Yankees, Red Sox, Duke, North Carolina, like these rivalries that are out there. A lot of them, it's because they're in the same division or the same conference, and that's just kind of because they play each other the most. They're gonna hate each other the most. They're gonna want to beat each other the most. That's just kind of how it works.
Right. Yeah. Next season, once we do the Rumble, I will declare my rival as soon as the Rumble is over and let them know that
that's good. That
it's going to be unlimited hatred on them at random. I'll do a random number generator from 1 to 3, and then.
Any other owner records that stick out, Nick?
No, that was actually it. I mean, that was just the ones that jumped out at me. Again, we're only going back to 2015 because that's when we switched to the site.
It's still 8 years. I mean, that's.
It's still a lot of time. It's still a lot of games. Like I said, 16 games, so plus 16 plus games. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there wasn't anything great. It's amazing, like seeing dad dicks. Like, I know that you like whipping on a Merrill, but like, or you think he's overrated, but like looking at his record at some of these other teams, like it's pretty good. It's like when he beats teams, he beats teams.
Yeah, but that's because they scored 90 points against them. I mean, it's easy to beat teams when they're putting up Watson numbers every week. I mean,
when you're constantly playing Patties and Watsons and JDs.
When you're in the crappy division every year, it's like, yeah, cool, way to go, man.
Now that we have you here in the public square, Esther, can we get a commitment to change your name to the Stepdad Dick?
I lost my shit laughing when I heard that. I like your new dad dicks, but no, I'm gonna roll with the not gonna happen Chiefs for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Mostly just because of the title,
Disappointing but fair. Yeah, it's on the trophy. Hard to change.
So, I think we would all be remiss if we didn't ask this question. The fuck was that trade, Hillers?
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. The one where you traded and then got the money back guarantee trade.
It wasn't a guarantee at all.
That question was in my notes.
Watson was quite kind to me. I as soon as I sent an email, and it wasn't even like please give it back to me. It was like fuck. I had left it up there for like a week and a half, and then Akane got hurt. And I was like, oh, that leaves me in a rut. And it's like, damn.
Who got hurt?
A-Chain? What's his name? Akane? I'll never know how to pronounce his name. He's my favorite player, but I don't ask me what his name is. But anyway, and he just sent me an email and very kindly was like, hey, if that was a mistake, you can have him back. And I said, well, that's a kindness. Thank you very much. He did a stand-up thing, which is rare in this league, and so credit to him. The mistake was mine. I didn't expect it back, but he was good enough to throw me an olive branch there, and I won't forget it. When it comes time for me to throw off an expensive player for a potential lottery ticket for next season, I'll be keeping the Assassins in mind. He did me a solid. So if there's hate to be had for that's on me.
Esther Romero, would you guys have done that?
Yeah,
no.
I would have. Yeah.
You said you accidentally hit the accept button?
No, I had offered it to Watson. I had just left it up like way too long. Forgot to rescind it when I should have meant to rescind it.
Yeah.
And then he picked it up like that night when I was like, oh, I woke up in the morning like in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. I was like, oh shit, that trade's out there, go rescind it. And then look at my lineup and it had changed, and I was like, no. And so I just went, damn it. I wasn't expecting anything. I was actually, it was pretty solid. What he offered there. So props to Watson where it's due. Good game.
I wouldn't have done it. I've been burned by that before.
I wouldn't expect anybody to do it. Honestly, I was planning to live my life Wilsonless. But
You said you would have offered the trade back, Merrill?
Yeah, I would have let him go back. To me, it's like when you accidentally drop a player that you didn't mean to drop, right? It's kind of in that same thing. Look, I mean, to some level, sure, you want to beat your opponents or whatever, but we play this game for fun, right? And like that's kind of what we're playing. And something like that can really,
But it's not. See, I hear what you're saying.
something like that
and
can really ruin someone's can really mess up someone's season and really just like I don't know. It can
But
just
it wasn't
ruin their enjoyment of the
pertaining-
game for the year.
I hear what you're saying, Merrill, but it wasn't an accident. It was a trade offer that he voluntarily offered and said, "I'm going to offer this. This is what I want."
Right,
And it wasn't.
Accept
And
it.
it wasn't
the
pertaining to
accident
anyone
was
in
leaving
the
it up too
trade.
long, is what I'm saying. The accident wasn't offering it. The accident was still having it up at a time and forgetting that it was up. That was the accident.
And it wasn't pertaining to anyone in the trade, though. He said that he regretted it because another player not in that deal got hurt. If it was just something like I saw, me and Nick had something worked out for Travis Kelce versus yada yada, the deal is pending, and then I saw like a breaking news Travis Kelce or my guy breaks his ankle, and I rush to the computer and click accept on that. That's foul play. But this is I don't know. I would
I mean, just
I would develop that rivalry. I'd get some Irish pillars and not get this play.
Watson would have been well within his rights to keep it. I mean, I'm not saying that like you should do that or that is like a requirement of the league. It was a stand-up move. I appreciated it. I'd like to think that given that as an example, if it happened the other way, that I'd do that in the future too. Because I mean, we're both garbage teams. Neither one of us is going anywhere this season. But
And it wasn't exactly the most blockbuster trade in the world either, right? I mean, it was kind of a big nothing. I mean,
Wilson may play one day. We don't know.
yeah. I mean, he could provide some value down the road, but like it's not. Yeah, I don't know. And it's also like, look, you're trying to not burn bridges, right? You're trying to, you want to keep the back channels open here. You're not trying.
It would have been fine if he would have been like, "Sorry about it, buddy." I would have been like, "Yep, okay, that's fair."
I thought we were trying to develop rivalries, not burn. I'll burn bridges and develop rivalries.
Yeah, but who wants to be in a rivalry with the worst team in league history? That's punching down. You can't do that.
That was actually a proposal I had. Was I looked up ways we could develop rivalries, and rivalry week was one of the big ones. And you get to apparently the way you develop it is you pick your rival. So if we're doing that, first dibs on Watson. But you have
the league's most popular rival. I choose this if Watson's taken.
Everyone just plays Watson 1 week, and there's a side bet involved.
Technically, we have that.
Work that out, but man, I'll just end up at
Watson is 7-3 against Merrill.
Watson just being stuck in a Waffle House for 11 days straight.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He's whipping your ass.
Sure, that's not the other way around.
Yeah.
Exposed. Exposed.
Look at Watson doing something good. There we go. There's some positive Watson positivity on the good.
Yeah, and then I guess the only other, just going back to trades, the only other trade was the tight end swap that since our last talk anyway, was the tight end swap that Slod and I went through, which another kind of big nothing. It's like a whatever, doesn't really matter. So
I looked at it and I was like, what trades? And every time I see one, my instinctual reaction is like, prepare to rage, prepare to hate what I'm about to see, and I looked at it and I go, who? For who? Who cares? Who cares about that? I was like, wow, all right. What's the difference?
Well, and so I guess that's the question is when, last year, I forget what week it was when things started really, when the Thunderdome started last year with the trades. But like, when do we think that's going to happen this year, right? Like, at what point do you think these teams should be giving up and start dumping and selling?
This week.
Do you think
after this week?
After this week?
This is the week.
So before this week?
after week 7, after this week plays out. So
Yeah.
when we do the podcast next week, I will not be surprised if there are some serious trade talks going on.
Fire sales kicking off everywhere.
Because technically, as of right now, no one is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, all but for one.
Yeah,
Everyone else, yeah.
Technically, Watson is still mathematically in the playoffs.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. So he's, and even worst case scenarios up and down the board. Next week is going to be like the make or break team point for some of these teams. It's going to be like, I have 7 losses. I cannot lose one more if I want to. If I have dreams of making the playoffs, do I just want to punt now? So next week is we're going to start seeing it.
Right. It's hard to give up before week 7 though, because I mean, as much as I know that my team is suboptimal and extremely unlikely to even like make the playoffs, if I were to go 2-0 this week, I'm suddenly tied by record for division lead, and then what do I do, right? So
Right.
I think after week 7 is a good pick. Certainly by week 9, the choicest fruit of the good players that cost a lot that you can get for cheap players that haven't done anything will have been picked. So once you see one trade, that sort of kicks off the rock slide of people saying, "Oh, if I'm going to get rid of this massive albatross, I'm going to need to give it to somebody." And so what I would say is, though, because I'm constantly looking at rosters for like, okay, what's the next season value? What's a good up-and-coming cheap player, especially in the running back position? There's nothing. There's nothing to be had. I mean, you can take a total lottery ticket, but you might as well just do that in the draft next year. I mean, there's not somebody that's like recently got the role and, putting up hot numbers that is out there for sale right now.
I think you muted Merrill.
When I joined the league, I did notice like Roscoe had half a dozen players where I was kind of like, how does he have these guys for so insanely cheap? Like, and he's got so many of them. But there's that in 2 years that's kind of gone. There's only so many like golden contracts, it seems like right now.
Right.
And they're not even as crazy as like Alvin Kamara for, I mean, what do you have him for? Like $12 like 2 years ago when he was still like in his prime, just getting 11 receptions a game.
Yeah. And if you've got a $50 player, you're trying to be, game on next season. You'd be like, who would be the golden contract? Who's coming up after 7 weeks? Usually there's at least somebody that got picked off the waiver wire a little bit before they started to blow up and is now worth acquiring.
Yeah, but the other thing is running backs we're getting hurt every week, right? And so it's not just young up-and-comers. It's also young, cheap guys who get hurt and are going to provide no value the rest of the year, but might provide value the next year, right? And it's like, so that's when a team who's even in it and might have a running back that looks like they don't want to get rid of, well, if they're not going to provide any help in their title run this year, then that team might decide to send it away,
Right. Devon Akaney is not for sale.
Got that, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. So it's 10 wins, right? I mean, 10 wins is what everybody thinks. It's like that seems to be what you need to get to.
That's your wild card mark right there. So conversely, like 8-9 losses. If you're pretty sure you're going to get there, cut bait.
Yeah, I have a hard time giving. I know people give up early. I have a hard time giving up until I get that 8th loss. Then I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like I just want to fight until the very end. But I know it's not always a smart thing to do.
Right, because you start losing. At some point, it becomes am I going to lose? It's an arms race, and it's like, I'm not going to win this arms race, and I can get value today for this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My reaction isn't so much to failure, isn't so much give up, as like, can I reform this team with maybe cheaper people? And in certain seasons, that has actually worked out to that they're panning upwards to the back end of the season in a way that will get you into the playoffs and set you up a little bit better for next year. So I don't necessarily always view, I always sell it as a fire sale because then people come coming, but I don't always, in my own heart, view it that way. I'm like, time to change my lineup entirely and see if we can, polish this turd into something that can get a wild card spot.
So Esther, you're sitting there 7-1 with a game against Watson still. So 8-1. You got 8 wins. I mean, you just need 2 more wins and you're in the playoffs, right? And so are you I'm not without giving you a strategy or anything, but are you starting to look down the road at like playoff schedules, things like that, to see, who you want to go for, or people you might want to pick up?
Not as far as trade targets go. I've looked at all my guys, and I mean, 2023 is not 2022 or whatever, but I'm excited that Derrick Henry's got the Texans in both the finals and the semifinals. Although the Texans are much better, and Derrick Henry's also like 30 years old now, so that might not be the same thing. But yeah, I know I have Watson in week 10, and I'm always like last year. I kind of blew up my keepers to get win now players, and that kind of worked out. So I maybe try to do the same thing again. Not to give away my strategy, but there it is.
No, I mean that's not much of it's not much of a secret.
Unlock the Mystic Tomes. Yeah. So
I gave Hillers Rashad White last year for $3, and he's 36 now. I don't know how that.
Inflation is a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks, Biden. Well, one thing though is, especially when you're leading and when you're at the top of the league, and I'm sure Merrill, you can speak to this, is it becomes really difficult to trade because one, you have a lot of good players, and there's not a lot that people can offer you to upgrade. Two, other teams are hesitant to trade with you because you're already kicking their ass. And then three, you're not usually looking to sell down. Especially this year with all the injuries, there's not always, just because somebody is expensive doesn't mean they're lighting the world on fire or that they have their legs attached. So it can be really tricky when you're in a leading position to make those kind of trades. Are you in a place where you're looking to make something happen? And if so, how would you even do that?
Who are you
That's
talking
the question, Merrill.
Mike, yeah, you're the one that's winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do?
My team is not, and we've talked about this a bit, but my team is in a weird spot where I have a lot of older players and expensive players, so there's not a lot of keepers I can really give away at this point. I mean, obviously Olave is the piece I'm looking at that, if I'm looking to deal something for maybe a win now player, that would be the one piece I think people have shown some interest in. So that's kind of the guy but the rest of it is going to be based on injuries and what happens in the next few weeks. I mean, if somebody goes down, if God forbid Tyreek Hill goes down for the year, he's at keeper value, then all of a sudden I'm looking to deal Tyreek Hill for something that I can keep or that I can use this year, right? Since I'm in title hopes here.
There would be a feeding frenzy. People would be crawling over each other.
Contract,
yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's kind of the deal. I know that nobody wants Mostert. He's not number one running back in the league, but nobody wants to trade for him. He's $6, I think, and he's the number one running back in the league, but nobody wants him. It's a weird place to be because
I'd trade for him if I didn't have two other Dolphins running backs already.
Well, but he's 31. He's 31, 32 years old. People know that, and they know at any moment his legs are going to fall off, right? Because he's a pretty fragile guy. He's never really stayed healthy. So, I don't know. One of the things I do regret in the draft is not drafting a more balanced team to where I do have some more younger kind of lottery ticket players that I could maybe use to parlay into some more win now guys.
Yeah,
you're in win now mode, baby.
That's you're in win now. And you better too.
It's professional sports.
Yeah. If you trade Olave and then you don't win, you're going to be looking at your team like a burning plantation behind my wealth, my riches. There's nothing left.
It happens every year, though. Happens every year.
Yeah, gotta send it, man. Flags fly forever. All right. So, speaking of divisions,
segues.
Do we think the divisions are breaking down how we thought they would? I think the thought was coming into the year that the pork chop division would be, and I may be off base here, but the pork chop division would be kind of the toughest, housing the best teams. The baked beans division would be a complete dumpster fire, and maybe one of the worst that we've ever seen. And then leg of lamb would kind of be somewhere in the middle. Could go either way.
By records, That's pretty close.
My own hubris was saying Leg of Lamb was going to be the division.
No one in Leg of Lamb has an all play of less than 500.
I know, right?
Like if Leg of Lamb were play, like the word Gazebo, it has an all play of 33 and 33, and that's the worst all play in the division in the league.
Yep.
That would be good for second in our division.
Every team in Leg of Lamb is averaging at least around league average points wise too. So which would indicate why they're above 500 in all play. Yeah, I think Leg of Lamb's been the strongest division, and I don't think it's that close right now. Baked Beans is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah,
Dad Dicks have come on a little strong in the past couple of weeks, but that division's just the disgrace to dumpster fires. Really.
Yeah, Dad Dicks has got to be. It's so funny that in most seasons, Dad Dicks is easily cruising to a division title that's completely unearned, and in this season, he's got this horrible division, and it's easily the highest all play, and by far the most points for, and then he's second to the top.
He's a good team. He's actually got the most points in the last 3 weeks by a fair margin, but that's just all Justin Fields actually learning how to play football.
Right.
Relearning how to play.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he does.
But that's not going to happen for the next few weeks, probably. So.
But the Korean howitzer is doing all right, though. I mean, he's not Justin Fields,
though. I mean, yeah, he's a serviceable guy. Also, David Montgomery going down, not too helpful for Dad Dicks either. So
it is not.
I'm revising my power rankings.
Yeah, and then Watson. Just to reiterate, Watson has had 66 opportunities to outscore other teams. And he's
what a
done
brutal way of phrasing that.
And he's done it 3 times. So
somehow
he's only successfully done it once.
It's
if we're just piling on, I actually, if we took his best score, he's gotten all year long, and he scored that every week, he would only get 5 more wins in the entire season. He would have 8 wins if he got his highest score every week.
You mean in all play?
In all play, yes.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So no, he wouldn't go undefeated. I think his best score has been 96 so far, which is there's only been 8 teams that have scored lower than 96.
8 and 58 at that point.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hashtag analysis.
Yikes!
Look at it. Look at Estrick. What do you bring to the table, Hillers? Looks like we have a replacement.
Yeah. What's your Watson suck stat?
Watson has been the lowest scoring team for 4 out of 6 weeks in our league.
Yeah, I mean, Estrick even has your same backdrop. So I mean, he's just like a little bit. He's just like a bit away from being you. Like he comes out with like a hanker simulator. Like there's.
I'll make a new equivalent. Who's this year's equivalent of Hankerson? I'll make a new simulator.
He's the Step Hiller's 1/5 of a Bijan.
Yeah, he'd be 2/5 of a Bijan, 1/3 of Bijan.
All right, any
Objects
teams
in the rearview mirror closer than they appear.
Any teams other than Watson's we're writing off at this point.
I think everyone's still in it, besides Watson.
Everyone is still in it, but at 33 and 33 all play with a 3-5 record, it's going to be tough for I would say Wingye and Gazebo as well. Just because every win counts, and they're at 3-5. That means they've got 3 more losses essentially before they just can't take anymore. And
7-2 the rest of the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Tough schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all fired up for next week. I mean, to be honest, this is
not writing them off, but they're on notice, right?
I think we can write off 3 teams from Baked Beans. We're just not quite sure which ones yet.
Right. All right.
Wait, you guys want to play a game?
This isn't like a Saw thing, is it?
This is a Saw thing.
Game.
All
right. We're going to play Fantasy Football 20 questions.
Just a regular bear trap.
You guys know how to play 20 questions? Estrick, are you good at 20 questions?
I've been told.
Better than average.
Many people say.
I've been told before.
I hear
All right,
a lot of people
so
saying.
as a collective, you guys are going to have 20 questions to be able to guess the football player that I have picked out. It's going to be you can ask yes or no questions. If you guess wrong at any point, you lose. So you have 19 questions and a guess. There's your 20 questions. Okay. Yes, no questions. These are all my plan is right now is that these are all fantasy football players that would be draftable. So we're not going to do IDP type players, but they will be all or offensive linemen. These are all players that you would draft / start in a fantasy football
In our league, these are
in our
rosterable
current
players.
league. In our current league with our current settings, there are players that you can would be the pool of players.
Defenses count.
Defenses count.
Okay, well there goes my first three
That's
questions.
question
so thanks
one.
for that.
All right, you guys ready?
Hang
So
on,
let's
I have a
run
few,
through
I have
it.
a few
Cheating
more
either.
questions before the
Pillars, I
point
can see
starts.
the reflection on your glasses. No cheating.
I'm not cheating. I'm looking
The
at
honor
every
system.
player in the league. I'm
honor
just
system.
just their names. How could I cheat? I don't know what player
Don't
you're
look at
thinking
names
of.
either.
How
Okay, I
big?
guess-
How big is your screen that you can look at every player in the league?
I am a sponge of information. All right.
I don't need a screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll turn
Okay.
it off.
Let's go ahead and start with Hillers.
Um.
And then there's no order. Like you guys don't have to go in order. You can just ask. And I should probably keep down write down the questions. Hang on a second.
It
ask.
will probably be easiest if we do go in order, though, guys. Don't you think?
Yeah, just,
I agree.
let's go.
I don't
Let's
mind.
go.
I don't have to always start, but let's for the
Let's
love
go
of God.
clockwise on the on
Yeah,
the,
okay.
on the camera here.
Okay. Is your player a running back?
Yes.
Is your player in the AFC?
Yes.
He's just gonna guess.
Come on.
Yeah.
Full court.
Isaiah, is your player Isaiah Pacheco?
No. You lose.
Is your player
you lost.
on?
You lost. You lost. Merrill guessed.
Wait, that's how it works.
Oh, I thought just Merrill
Yeah.
was out.
Oh, okay,
it's-
yeah.
No,
I
it,
thought-
no. We're
God
Oh,
damn it,
all
Merrill!
right, well, fun game, I guess, guys.
All right, one more.
You ass! You ruined the bet.
luckily, I do have.
I think
a
I
backup
saved
Luckily.
player.
Luckily, the next one was
Luckily,
Isaiah
I do
Pacheco.
have a backup player.
Hey, there's no second place, boys. We're swinging for the fences here.
I
Okay,
was hoping to save this till for next week.
that's
but
not exactly a recent guess on the third question.
might take a little bit longer to figure. Okay. Also, just as a clarifier, we are going fantasy football players that are draftable from our league from all time. It's
All
not just
time?
players from this year. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. I don't want
Oh,
you guys to go
wow.
down a rabbit hole and think
I'm
that I'm tricking you.
gonna need a bigger spreadsheet.
Yeah, now you don't have a big
Yeah,
screen.
fucking-
Now I'll need two.
3-point font.
Who is Bobby Lane?
Okay. Let's go again.
Right.
I don't feel like I should
Actually-
start.
I kind of want to start with. I kind of want to use that same player again, but no. Now that you guys know the rules, but we'll switch it up this time.
Who was it?
I'm not going to tell you just yet.
Why not?
It was Maurice Jones-Drew.
Oh,
What?
never would have guessed that.
He
Oh,
asked,
yeah,
is
no
the
way.
player in the AFC? And you said yes.
He played in the AFC.
But he's not currently in the AFC.
Okay, so that's the question. Is the
Yeah, you lied.
question is in the AFC? I can say no, and then you say is he in the NFC? I can say no, and then
Yeah.
that will lead you to think that he's retired. That's the
Well,
rules of that's the.
How about we
terminology.
just ask if
Well, that's up to
they
us to ask.
played?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Okay,
That's
so
all
then
right.
is he in the AFC? No. Okay.
Okay, so let's get an age.
I
question.
interpreted
Nick,
that as did he play
let
in
me-
the AFC?
I'm not in the AFC.
Yeah, get an age question in there early, then, guys. Because if it's like, is this player under 30? You know what I mean? Then that.
Okay.
Or 40.
All right.
All right, we'll do
Pillars,
that.
You lead off again.
Okay, is your player under 40?
No.
Now we know.
Was your player in the NFC?
Yes. Yes.
Is your player a defense?
No.
Is your player a wide receiver?
No.
Damn it.
Is your player a running back?
No. That's 5.
QB or tight end. Or a kicker. Probably a kicker.
Probably a kicker. Nick loves kickers.
Was your player a good fantasy player?
Yes.
Um,
I do think kickers are good fantasy players, though.
was your player top 10 in their position all time?
Ooh, all time? Like, no. He's not, I don't think he's all
So
time. He's not all time.
somewhere close
Top 10 of what you based on? Like is
of
this
their
just
position.
In what
Yeah.
stat?
Well, yeah, but his answer was so revealing.
Fair.
I mean, I'm interpreting that in any context. Top T is not a top. I don't think you be a top.
Now
10.
he's trying to walk it back.
How many questions are we on?
That was 6, I think.
That was 9. Or that was 7. That was question 7.
Gotta figure out the position. Is your player a quarterback?
Yes, it is.
There you
Okay.
go.
We had to know.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
No.
Did your player have any notable commercials?
Good question.
No.
Uh,
That's 10.
does your player have a broadcasting job?
No.
Did your player play in the NFC West?
No.
I'm not looking up a spreadsheet of all players.
Looking at porn?
Did your player let's see. Wrong conference. Did your player play for the NFC East?
No.
Okay. North and South remain.
Maybe verify
Or,
something real
no,
quick,
South
yeah.
and West remain, I guess.
Or less west.
West is not. I asked about West.
Oh, okay.
So North and South then. 8 teams.
So he could be on multiple teams. That's the problem. So like, but Bears, Packers.
We're asking. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so ask for the bulk of the career then, or if they're famous for playing.
Did your player start his career after 1980?
Yes. I am going to be, because you guys are getting close to the end of this. I'm going to let you do a do-over on that one, because we're not going back that far. The furthest we'll go back is 2002, which is where our league starts.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, because you
So
asked
any
for
team
all
that
of
any
history
player
and
that we
stuff.
could have drafted in any year of our league being in existence.
Yeah,
as a
I was
player,
like,
as a clarifier for that.
oh, they're not in commercials. Did commercials
Yeah.
not exist
Is
yet, or were they just not very fun?
is this player in the Hall of Fame?
Ooh. I don't believe so. Might be in the Hall of Very Good.
It's unknowable.
it's on you, Hillers.
No.
Okay.
What was your question you cut out?
No, he's not. He is not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Did your player have a famous marriage?
I'm going to say no.
Was it like a news story in any way who they were like married
I don't
to?
believe so. That's 15.
15.
I might give you guys 20 questions and a guess.
What's your player in the NFC North?
Yes.
Okay.
quarterback, Bears, Packers. Man, the Bears have had so many.
Not
Bears,
good,
Vikings,
not good
Packers, and
fantasy
Lions.
quarterbacks, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably on the Bears.
A quarterback from the Bears.
But he said Hall of Very Good, not quite in the Hall of Fame. Like who could
Since 2002.
that excludes every Packer because they're all blocks. So what? It's either
Did this player play for the Vikings?
Yes.
I know who it is then.
Oh. What would you recommend I ask, Esther?
Can we do
Something
that?
concerning. Something
Yeah, I know
concerning. Yeah, we
Go
can
ahead.
talk, right?
Yeah.
Something concerning.
Yeah, we're a team. It's a team sport.
Something concerning like Randy Moss or something like that. I think it's.
Mhm. Or
Did your player throw to Randy Moss?
Yes.
that's a-
Who do you think it is?
Is your player?
ask
Is your
if-
player? Is your?
What are we on? What question?
You are on question 19.
Can I go?
Oh wow! I really got to set you up here.
Can
Hold
I
on.
go? I
Well,
got one.
if you go, then I got to guess. So okay.
I think
go
we're
ahead.
thinking of the same person, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Did this person go to University of Central Florida?
Yes.
I'm so shit with college teams. So yeah, you can answer.
I know who
then.
it is. It's Dante Culpepper.
Yeah, Dante
It's
Culpepper.
Dante Culpepper. All right, good job on the 20th. On the
Hey,
18th question.
we got there.
I was going through the NFC North quarterbacks, and I'm thinking Packers. Well, it was either Rodgers or Favre. And then it's
Right.
like Bears,
And there-
nobody. Lions.
What's gonna be I was
Lions would
really
be
hoping if you
Stafford,
guys
but he's not. But he won a
if you
Super
guys
Bowl.
asked did he play for the Lions, I would have said yes because he did play for the Lions his last 2 years.
Brutal.
Well, that's why I was
Um,
saying we got to say, is he famous for playing for?
Who
Yeah,
are you
we got-
famous for? Yeah, because I was like, 'cause he
Honestly,
played
got
for
lucky with
Oakland.
that.
He played for Oakland and he played for the Lions. So if
Right.
you guys
And he
guessed
played for
AFC
Miami
first,
too.
Yeah, because like hard mode for this game would be like Ryan
Yeah, Miami,
Fitzpatrick, right, or somebody like that, who's not famous for playing for anybody. He's been on like every team in the league. You know? Like, how do you nail that down?
All right. Power
Good job,
rankings.
guys.
Or the less fun Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andy Dalton, who every year
he's,
a team seems to think that's a startable quarterback, and then immediately decides, "Nah, we fixed it." And then some other team, he goes, "He's still good."
He's
still good."
floozying his way around the league right now.
But he keeps finding his way into starting positions. I can't think of anybody who plays for that many teams and keeps starting.
All right, let's do some power rankings here. I'll go first. Starting off at 12, I got the Assassins, and the shocker of all shockers. 11, I have Hillers.
Hater.
10, Gazebo. 9, Wounded Ducks. 8, Slod. 7, TDJ.
Okay. At 11, I have Slod. Then I have CTR, Hillers, Gazebo, and Weenye.
Like I didn't mention 12.
At 11, I have Slod, followed by CTR, Cyborg Tony Romo, myself, the Ducks, Weenye.
Oh, hang on. I was wrong on mine. I have Slod twice.
You think of Slod so much.
I don't have Slod at 7. I have them at, I have CTR at 7. Sorry.
Estrick, you ready to go?
At 11, I have Hillers. Sorry, buddy.
Haters! Haters everywhere!
At 10, I got Slod. At 9, I got Weenye. At 8, Gazebo. And 7, CTR.
I mean, I think we're all just about the same teams there, don't we? In the same
Yeah, it's pretty much
bottom.
the same group.
Ween took a big slide.
I
on
got
my
Ween
first
way
team.
higher than you guys still.
Yeah,
And Slod way higher than you guys.
yeah.
He's got the lowest game in the. I mean, one game, right? But 69 points.
It lets you know the floor of a team.
All right, at what is it? 6, I've got the Dad Dicks. At 5, I have Slod. At 4, I have Weenye. At 3, I've got the Not Gonna Happen Chiefs. 2, Longest 2.5 Yard, and 1, the Hitman.
All right. I've got the Ducks, TDJ, Dad Dicks, my team, Stepdad Dicks, and Hitman.
I have the Dad Dicks, Gazebo, TDJ, Stepdad Dicks, longest 2.5 yards, and the Hitman.
I have TDJ, the Ducks, Dad Dicks. 2 and 3 are kind of like 2A and B, but I gave myself 2A
There
just
you
because
go.
I've outscored you slightly in the last 3 weeks.
Because you're boning the mom now.
So yeah, 3 longest, 2.5 yards, 2 Chiefs, 1 Hitman.
I mean, this is it. This week is it. There, Estrick. You've already beat me once this week. Once this year, I had to win so that we can at least bring it to a rubber match later on in the season,
Yeah,
And to stay within one game.
and to stay within one game.
Yeah, divisional
Rivalry.
doubleheaders are so crazy with the bye weeks, a high number of bye weeks, and the key divisional matchups. It's really a make or break.
You're
week.
up 2 games in your division. Guess what? Maybe not after this week.
No,
Might
yeah,
be time.
now you're regular scum. It's like this is where you can either put it away as a champion or declare yourself a potential contender. And if you're not there after this week, think about your life choices.
Is week 7 the only pure, like 100% divisional doubleheader?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh wow, that is significant. The more you know.
We stuck it here because it is kind of a make or break point.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So
We
all
wanted
right,
to make sure people weren't getting tired of it after halfway through.
let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Nice tight hour-ish. For Nick, for Hillers, for Tyler / Esther.
Oh.
This is Merrill saying we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.